All right, so we are moving on to session two for lesson 15, and we're still multiplying a decimal by a whole number. We're just getting a little bit more practice, and I just want to reinforce a couple things as we go. So let's get started with our warm up. So this warm up has us complete the multiplication. Now, I do want to show you guys how there's two different ways to do it. Um, it's a traditional way, which I find is what you're probably more comfortable with and more common. But this first line here shows seven times something, but that's seven times nine, and that gives us 63. And then the seven times the four, but that's four is in a tens place, so that's actually 40. So that gives us 280. And then the seven times the one, but it's in the ones place, so that's actually where it's 100. And seven times 100 is 700. Then we add all these up. We've got 3, 8 plus 6 is 14. Uh, 7 plus 2 is 9, plus 1 is a 10. So 1043. And let's check that. Let's do it the traditional way, which we are most used to. And this is called the standard algorithm, the way that we would do it. 7 times 9 is 63. 7 times 4 is 28. And then for 28, we add the 6, and that gives us 34. And 7 times 1 is 7, plus the 3 is 10. So two different ways to do this. You can break it down by expanded form, which was we have here on the left, or the right way you can do it that way. Obviously, you saw me do the one on the right faster, but there's just want you to be aware of the two different ways to multiply. All right, so let's get into it. Open up your books to page 313. And we're going to go back and talk about estimating, which is something we did quite a bit of with the last lesson. But let me read the scenario here. So Padma bought 3 pounds of grapes. Each pound of grapes cost $2.75. I literally bought grapes yesterday at Aldi, so this is pretty on point. How much money did Padma spend on grapes? So I brought up the fact I bought some grapes myself because I wanted you to know what I did in my head, math wise, as I was going around pricing out some of the things I was going to buy. And what I did is I did an estimate in my head. So the grapes are 275. I can't multiply 3 times 2.75 in my head, but I sure can do 3 times $3. And that let me know that the grapes I was going to buy were going to cost about $9. So little pricey, a little more than I wanted to spend, but that gave me an idea of how much they're actually going to cost. So um, let's see how much they actually cost when I went up to the register. So we have $2.75 times 3, because about 3 pounds. Now, the first thing I want to point out is we have 2.75, and that means this 5 is in the hundreds place. And that means if one of your factors, depending on one of your factors, it's decimal, will determine what place value your answer should be. So this is one of our factors here is in hundreds. So our answer is going to be in hundreds. So let me show you how that works. 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 7 is 21, plus 1 is 22. And 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. And again, one of my factors, this one, was in hundreds. And that means I have to create a hundreds place for this one. So 8.25. And that answer is reasonable to our estimate. So our answer is right. Plus, estimating kind of helps you, definitely helps you know if you put your place value in the at least the right spot. 9 is very close to 8. So we know that that's correct. If I had put my um, decimal point here, 82.5, that would have not made sense because my estimate was $9, not $82. So just use estimating really quick in your head to remind you where that should go. All right, let's look at the next page. Again, alternative ways to do these problems. You can use decimal grids to multiply the whole number. Think of 3 times 275 as 3 groups of 275. So what we have here is 1, 2, whoops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 holes. And then I've got these partial ones here and here. But if I take some cubes from this one, that could fill these in. And that would give me 7 and 8. And we have about 25 of these little cubies left. So that's one way to do it, visually speaking. Another way is like we did the partial products way, like we did with the warm-up. 3 times 5 is 3 times 5 hundredths, and 3 times 7 tenths, and 3 times 2 ones. It gives us all these values here. So there's that. But we kind of stuck with the traditional way for ours. But just showing you that there's different options when you go do it. Okay, to solve the problem, you need to find 3 times $2.75, estimate the total cost of the grapes. We actually did that. We did 3 pounds times the nearest dollar, which was $3. And we figured that was $9. How many full grids can you make? Well, we made 8 full grids. The full grids were dollars. And how many squares would be shaded in the partially filled grid? 25, and that would represent our cents. How's multiplying with a decimal like multiplying with a whole number? It's the same. It's the same, except you have to decide where to put your decimal, or put the decimal. Um, 825 hundredths equals 8.25 ones. Both picture and mallet show that 3 times 2.75 equals $8.25. Is the product reasonable? Yes. It's close to our estimate. Explain how to multiply a decimal in the hundredths by a whole number. Just simply multiply. Then the product will be in hundredths. Again, depend if one of your factors, you have to figure out what place value it's in, and then your answer will be in that same exact place value. When we start doing 2 decimals multiplied by one another, I'll kind of re-explain that, and then both the place values are considered for that, but we don't have to worry about that for now. Here's number 7. We don't have to do that one. Let's go on to number 8 here on page 316. So onions cost 65 cents per pound. Sasha bought 4 pounds of onions. How much did she pay for the onions? Show your work. So again, grocery shopping one here. We estimate, I'm going to say 65 cents. Let's round that up to $1. And if she bought 4 pounds, she's going to spend under $4, but that gives us a ballpark figure. So let's do the actual math. And we'll multiply this by 4. Please note that this factor here is going to be hundreds. I'll put hund for that. So our answer will be in the hundreds. 5 times 4 is 20. 6 times 4 is 24. Plus 2 is 26. 4 times 0 is 0, but with a 2. And since our one factor is in the hundreds, we have to put a decimal point here. Plus $2.60 is close to our estimate of $4. So this answer is reasonable. Let's look at number 9. Brian makes a row of 11 paper clips lined up end to end. Brian needs a new hobby. Each paper clip is 2.48 centimeters long. How long is the row of paper clips? Show your work. Well, let's do an estimate. So we're going to have, let's see, 2.48. That's going to be awfully close to 3. And if it's 11 paper clips, it's 3 times 11. And that will be 33. Our answer might be around 33 centimeters. So let's do the actual math. 2.48. And we'll multiply that by 11. Okay. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. Don't forget to, when you go to the next value, you got to put a 0 there, because this 1 right here is not actually 1. It's actually worth 10. So we're actually multiplying everything by 10. That's why we add the 0. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 4 is 4. And 1 times 2 is 2. So let's add these up. We got 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. 7, 2, 7. Our one factor here is in the hundreds. So our answer has to be in the hundreds. So it's 27.28 centimeters. And 27 is really close to 33. So our answer is reasonable. And last one. What's the product of 14 and 5.3? I want to illustrate this because this factor is in tenths. That means I don't even have to calculate this to find the answer, because this answer is in hundreds, so it's not that. This is in thousands. This is whole numbers, and this one is in tenths. So I know that that would be the answer. If we actually solve that out, it would be 74.2. But again, I want to illustrate that if one of your factors is a decimal, your answer must be in the same place value as that factor, which would be 2/10 here. So saved us some work. And your homework is going to be IXL assignment, because I know how much you love IXL. It's I7, multiply a decimal by a 1-digit whole number. Shouldn't have too much problems with that, since it's very similar to yesterday's. And the only thing you might have a problem with is entering the numbers, because it has a weird way of doing it. But get 70% or more, and you are completing the assignment for the day.